Family, what's good? It's your boy LITEBOD back again with another edition of the LITEBOD Pod. Family, super keen to get into this one. Got a yet another interview, and our interviewee on the show today is going to be Dev the Follower featuring VK, the producer. Dev the Follower, super awesome lyricist, as you know. For our subscribers, you're on the channel. You've definitely seen our reactions to his music and reactions to those, oh, what can I say, super fire freestyles, lyrically elite penmanship from this gentleman over here. And I'm super keen to get into this one. Pennsylvania's very own, if I'm not mistaken. And we got VK based in Tampa, Florida. Gentlemen, welcome to the LITEBOD party at the Light Hub. How y'all doing?
Pretty good. Hey, man, it's an honor and a privilege to be here. I really appreciate it.
Likewise.
Doing pretty good too.
Awesome, gentlemen. Man, we're gonna chat to them about their latest music that they've been putting out together and also talking about their career and their come up story session. So, with that being said, we ain't wasting any time. Let's get straight into it, man. Dev, tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is Dev the Follower?
Yeah, so Dev the follower, I obviously care a lot about the craft. I value the lyricism, the wordplay, and just trying to be as creative as possible. With the industry being extremely oversaturated with a lot of music, I just want to stand out and give quality music that a lot of people would love, especially the hip hop heads as well as people who just generally like to listen to rap and hip hop.
Mm, awesome. And yourself, VK?
I'm yeah, as you know, I'm a producer. I've been making beats now since I was 16 years old. Then I made my first beat,
Mm.
and yeah, I grew up in Norway. Now I live in Tampa.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
awesome. Tell me about your partnership. Like, how did you guys come together? How did you meet? When was the how was that relationship sparked between the two of you?
we met on Twitter around 2016, 2017. And he was rapping, and I was just starting out making beats. I wasn't really that good at the time, but he still listened to my beats and everything whenever I sent them to him. And yeah, we also got along very well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Dev, just want to get into your story. Could you tell me about your earliest music memories? Like, how did you how did you get into the game, first of all, like in terms of music?
Yeah, so when I was young, I don't remember exactly the age, maybe like 12 to 13 years old. I just messed around with my sister. She's a singer, she plays piano and stuff like that. Never took it seriously then. Um, Dabbled in it a little bit throughout 11th and 12th grade of high school. And then when I went to college, I met one of my homies, YB, and we kind of just like had a similar taste in music, especially rap. And we just set up in the dorm room a really cheap mic that we bought, I think for like $50 at Best Buy or some shit like that. And we
Holy.
just started making music. Yeah, we just started making music and we were like rapping almost every single day. If we weren't wrestling, we were on the same wrestling team at the school there. But I think like the first song that we took seriously and released together was a walkout song that we made for another wrestling partner on our team, which is pretty funny.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. And yourself, VK, your earliest music memories, and then once you're done with that, tell me how you started off with production.
Me and a friend back in Norway, we always had this dream of making music, and we in the beginning we really wanted to make EDM music when we were like 13, 12, 13 years old. So we tried like a bunch of free softwares where you just drag loops in, really just arrange stuff. We didn't really make it, but we just messed around with it. And then after after a while, when I got my first MacBook, I had Garage my computer, so I was able to make at least something. But then after a few years, or maybe 1 year or something, I decided to buy Logic, so I could actually make some decent music.
Oh, that's really awesome. So from GarageBand to Logic now, I guess everybody
Yeah,
can.
now music a lot.
I guess everybody listening to this who's on the producer side will definitely resonate with that. Like most of us started off with the likes of GarageBand, or I think if you heard of this other door called Cakewalk as well. So there's like various free. We start off like with the free doors, and then we move over to the more professional sides. And I can definitely tell the professional work has really culminated to some elite stuff with this latest single of yours, man. Tell me about the making of your latest single, gentlemen. If I'm not mistaken, the single is titled "What's Up." Fam, I just want to first of all commend the both of you. Like, first of all, the production side was just, as I just said, super phenomenal. Really dynamic. Really got
Thank you.
some great transitions over there, and then we've got we've got Dev matching the energy, just bringing out that grittiness, that bringing out the dark elements of that song, and just making that song a complete body of work. So tell me about the making of this latest single of yours, gentlemen.
Yeah, so VK, if you want to tell your part first, what you remember, and then I can go ahead and tell what I remember afterwards.
Yeah, we were sitting one evening looking for samples so I could try and flip. And then we found this very old Middle Eastern sample. I don't even remember the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I found like a 4-bar loop and I chopped it up and just like changed the order of it to create a melody out of it. And then I added the drums and yeah,
The rest is history. And then you just did
yeah.
you send it over to him
Yeah,
via
pretty
email, or
much.
were you together in the studio?
I was in Orlando visiting him.
Oh, all
So
right.
that was probably one of the first songs we made while in the same room.
Okay. And I'll kick it over
Yeah,
to Dev.
so what I remember, what I remember is we were just I think we had just mutually came together and we're like, we need to find like an old ass song that we can sample or some way chop it up. It's gotta be high energy, and um that's just one that we found. And I remember him piecing that together, sipping on a little bit of peanut butter whiskey, I believe it was at the time. And it just spoke to me when he finished it. So I just had to spaz on it. I remember as soon as he finished it, I just started writing and writing and writing. And then I made sure to spend a lot of time recording it because I wanted to get certain vocal inflections in there, certain
Mm.
raspiness in the voice when I said words. And I actually do remember recording each hook separately because I wanted it to have a little bit different of an element every time you heard it.
And speaking of the writing process, take me through your creative process, Dev. What's your creative process like when you create your music?
Yeah, so the vast majority of the time, I will have a bunch of beats that I'll just listen to, and whatever I'm feeling at the time or whatever speaks to me at the current time, I'll just start writing. So what I like to do is I'll just like freestyle mumble the flow or how I think I want to approach the beat first, and then once I get that figured out, I just put in the words and I try and figure out what I can rhyme with this word or how I can rhyme this scheme and cadence to fit into certain bars and punchlines that I want to have on the record.
Do you punch in, or do you write way before you get into the recording session?
I write everything way before the recording session. If I'm recording and I hear that something doesn't sound right, or if I want to change something, then I'll do it then. But the vast majority of the time, everything's definitely written well before I record.
Awesome, awesome. And from what I picked up from the music and the freestyles that I reacted to, I definitely could tell that there's a boom bap influence, a real like original hip hop lyric focused creative process, or like influence overall. Could you take me through some of your music inspirations? Who were you listening to as you came up into the game as well?
Yeah, 100%. So you definitely be correct with saying boom bap is definitely a huge influence. So my favorite artist that I listen to probably the most is Nas. I also listen to a lot of Wu-Tang Clan, Biggie, Pac, and then some more modern artists like Eminem and 50 Cent. Um, I definitely listen to and are on rotation heavily every single day. The first the first piece of music that I purchased with my own money was actually Relapse by Eminem. And then for that, it was Get Rich or Die Trying 50 Cent. So those two albums are probably the closest to me and what influences me the most, because it's just those are the two bodies of work that I listen to and like actually listened with a writing ear. So yeah, I think that's what really sculpted my way of writing.
Awesome. I will kick it to VK. Tell me about your earliest music inspirations, and then once you're done with that, could you maybe just tap into some of the producers that you look up to as well within hip hop or any other genres that you might produce as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. In the beginning, we, as I said, when I was like 12, I wanted to make EDM music. So I used to really like Skrillex at that time.
Mm,
And then after a while, when I started to listen more to rap music, I listened to Hobson a lot actually, and I really like his productions. And um, yeah, and some of the people that I do look up to now is Scott Storch, Dr. Dre, and I also really like Metro Boomin, and Russ got some really good beats too.
Russ, yeah, the independent maestro, Scott Storch, Metro Boomin, real awesome, man. Uh, and then last question in terms of the history of your music inspirations. Just wanted to kick it to your top five, gentlemen. I know this is a controversial topic, and people are really hesitant to reveal their top five, or are scared of the criticism that's going to come from the viewers or listeners. Just wanted to know who's in your top five at this point in time. We'll start with you, VK, then we'll kick it to Dev later.
Um, Rappers or producers, or just in
Since
general?
you a producer, who's your top five producers in the game?
Um, I think my all-time favorite is probably Scott Storch, because I really like his Middle Eastern style.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so he's number one. Um, number number two, I would say right now is yeah, I would personally say Metro Boom actually. Um, I also really like Take Heath.
Take Heath,
Um,
really been popping lately as well.
yeah, he's really good. And I like um, yeah, Dr. Dre for sure.
Mm-hmm. We got
And
one more.
one more, yeah. Um, Probably
Any
I
Norwegian
like
producers over there that you want to slide in there?
oh yeah, my friend Opie, he's great.
Shout out Opie. I came
Yeah.
in clutch there with the plug for Opie. Shout out Opie the
Yeah,
boy.
most like there's probably someone else, but I just can't think of it here and now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Nah, nah, nah.
I'll help you out with two. Kanye West and Pharrell
Oh
Williams.
yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sirski. Yes,
Those are
sirski.
obvious for sure.
And who's in your top five, Dev?
So in terms of rappers, I'd have to put probably Marshall at number one, just because of his technique, his flow, his lyricism.
Mm,
I just think he checks all the boxes, and for the most part, like maybe two or three boxes out of five, he does better than everyone else. Number
that's fair.
two, yeah, number two, probably Lil Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, I'd probably have to say is Nas. Number four, I'd probably have to say Jay Z.
Mm.
And then number five, this is probably pretty controversial, but I'd say as of right now, I think Kendrick got it, just because. And normally I would put Bigger Pac in that position, but in a way, it's not fair because Kendrick outlived the longevity, and Biggie and Pac were just young in the industry at the time when they unfortunately passed away. But I think if they were both still alive today, they would definitely be going toe to toe with each and every one of them for sure.
Oh, that's a solid top five right there. Solid, solid stuff, gentlemen. So speaking of your favorite or some of the greatest musicians or greatest to do it, I would like to know what is the realest shit you ever wrote? Deb, what's the realest shit that you ever wrote, bro?
It's pretty funny you say that because VK and I actually have a song called "Real Shit,"
Yeah, talk
and
to me,
and I
talk to
think
me.
that's probably the realest shit I ever wrote because this might have been 6 or 7 years ago when I was just really taking music seriously, putting some stuff out, and um, someone reached out to me and let me know that my music is one of the main reasons that they're still alive today. So I just took that very personally and wanted to put that in a creative process and display how meaningful a lot of things that we creatively can be for people. So that really hit home, and it still hits home thinking about it. And I just really appreciate that my music and VK's music can have an impact on people like that.
Oh, that is so
Real
profound.
real shit is actually real shit is actually the first time I ever heard anyone rap on any of my beats. Actually, Devin was the first one to ever rap on my beats.
Yeah. Oh, flip. That must be like that must be a real like sort of like full circle moment when you get people to actually make something out of your music for the first time and you actually find it fire, like especially like I'm sure that's a fear of a lot of producers when you put stuff out. You're like, man, I hope nobody whack or like some uh garage recording artist or bedroom artist hops on this one and just drop some ass lyrics on it. I don't want that. That must be
Yeah.
your biggest fear. um, but anyways, speaking of coming full circle, I wanted to know, gentlemen, what are your thoughts on law of attraction, the creative process, and our role within this universe? A lot of things stacked in there, but mainly I just want to know, like, what are your beliefs on creation, creativity, and how things manifest, essentially?
Yeah, so just to kick it off on a more broad spectrum, I think the chemistry between people, especially people that you're working with, and the relationships you have with people in the industry in general, musically, has such a significant impact on how that music is going to be created and how it is going to be executed and how it's going to sound as a project as a whole, or even just as a song as a whole. So I think it's really important that the connection and the chemistry is there right away, or else it almost feels like you're forcing and trying to really force yourself to make something that maybe you don't feel right away. But um yeah, just going back to how VK and I first started our friendship and shit. I just think we had a lot of similarities. We agreed on a lot of different things in real life as well as music, and I just think right away we developed the friendship that basically impossible to be broken. So just being that comfortable with your friend just makes it way better, more fun and exciting to make music with them.
Do you think that it was like destiny for you guys to meet and like cross paths or come together and create music together?
Without question.
Awesome. VK,
Yeah.
well,
I
do
feel
you
like I
believe
feel
in
like we feed.
destiny?
Yeah, in some way, yeah, I do. I think that people feed off of each other's energy, and like that's why you become like the people you are around. And I feel like whenever me and Dev are in the room together making music, we make a lot better music than if I'm making a beat at home and emails it to him. So
Mm.
yeah, I think people feed off of each other's energy, and yeah.
100%.
And that law of attraction question, like, I know it's been really like popularized, or like it's been really played out in a way in terms of like the mainstream media, or can I say on social media, a lot of people talking about, oh yeah, these airy fairy woke community always talking about law of attraction, is sort of gotten a not a bad light, but a sort of tainted image overall for people who are in that consciousness or like aka woke community. What are your thoughts on law of attraction, and what are your beliefs on how we create things?
So in my perspective, I think people get pulled together um, for a purpose, for a reason, and whether or not that is positive or negative, I think either way, it's something to learn from. So if you're pulled together for someone for a good thing, then it will be good, and you will create a lot of benefit not only for yourself, your relationship, but for other people as well. But for example, if you're pulled to someone who essentially is extremely negative and has does harm to your life, then you just have to look at it as a learning lesson, and that was supposed to happen, something you can reflect on, learn from,
Mm.
and move forward with.
Oh, so profound.
I think when it comes to your question about the law of attraction, I think I don't think you'll like get stuff from just thinking about it. I think it's more like when you do try to manifest something by like like people say that they're thinking about it. I think the reason why is because you focus so hard on it, and if you actually do work on it as well, you might make it happen.
So with that
If
thought,
that
with
makes
that
sense.
seed you plant, you gotta take action on it. You gotta actually
Yeah, yeah,
move forth and like do something about it. You cannot just wait for it to come to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
exactly.
feel you on that one. I
Yep.
feel you on that one. Uh, Gentlemen, we are reaching the tail end of our discussion and our chat. I feel like things really started opening up and flowing here at the end of it. But I just wanted to know, man, since this is aka slash the home of the underground, and we chat to a lot of underground artists, and a lot of the times people watching this are early in their phase of creating music, or are just music fans, like people who might be thinking of only creating something one day. What is your inspiration? What are your final words you'd like to leave for the upcoming generation out there, the youth, the younguns?
Go ahead, BK. You can start with that one.
Keep working hard. Focus on what you're doing, and you'll eventually make it at some point. Make the
Mm,
right decisions.
Yeah, I like that. And I'd like to just add on to that. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, as long as you are consistent, um, working hard, and just keep moving forward. So if you really want something, you got to devote all your time and attention to that. If it's something that you really want to do for the rest of your life, you got to take it seriously, and you have to take it as if you want it to do it for the rest of your life. So something that a piece of advice that I would give for people just starting out wanting to write music, create songs, and or whatever they're doing creatively, if you're not impressing yourself, then it's unlikely that you'll be able to impress anyone else.
whew, man, that hit home. That hit home for real. I'm gonna definitely clip this one and put that out there as a clip on our channel as well. You gentlemen really had a great conversation over here. Really enjoyed chatting to you. Final chats. Just wanted to know, what do you guys got coming up? We'll start with VK. What is your plans in terms of production? And then we'll shoot over to Dev. And also let me know if you've got any more music planned between the two of you.
Um, moving on, I'll just continue making more beats. Yeah, try to develop even more. Um, like get better every day. Yeah, pretty
Do
much.
you plan on sticking to like hip hop production, or do you plan on maybe evolving to or experimenting with other genres?
Uh, I've already experimented with other genres actually. I just haven't like released anything with anybody yet.
Yeah, so talk
Yeah,
about it, man. What can the peeps look out for? Like, what are they? What should they stay tuned to VK for? Why should they follow you, Bree?
I've made some indie beats, some pop beats as well.
Hmm.
Um, yes, I find that interesting, and also I've made a lot of R&B beats, actually for Devin as well that we made. Yeah,
I make music as well, so I might
some
just
song
tap in
collab.
with you. I might tap in with you for some of those pop or R&B jams, because I tend to be on the bit of the
Oh yeah,
melodic
for sure.
side. But yeah, shooting to you, Dev, man. What can the supporters uh, look forward to from Dev in the future?
Yeah, so I like to consider myself one of the most consistent artists that I know. So I'm always going to
Mm,
steadily be putting out some music. But from here on out, I'm really going to focus on creating really solid songs, really solid bodies of work. So just going back, like if the song doesn't impress me, I'm probably not going to release it. So I'm going to hold myself to a higher standard that I have had previously. But as far as for the near future, I would just like to formally announced that VK and I are going to release our album titled Foreign Exchange in December. It is by far the best creative music, best body of work that we have ever made in our entire lives. And I'm really excited and really looking forward to share it with the world.
yes, sir. Super, super keen for that one, man. Definitely gonna be checking out some of that and possibly reacting to some of those tunes here on the channel. You definitely know we finna stay tapped in. Man, gentlemen, this was really great, man. I might as well just call y'all fam right now, man. Really awesome having you part of the Light Hub family. And yeah, this is gonna be up there for years to come, man, for future generations to see. So I really was glad to poke your brains and get to draw out parts of you that most people would definitely not able to capture. So it's been a pleasure having you on the channel, Soul Family. And with that being said, Dev, where can the people find you? VK, where can the people find you?
So at Dev the Follower on all social media platforms. We are on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. So you can find us there.
Yes, sir.
You can find me pretty much everywhere on Instagram, Twitter. It's at Vegard Knudsen. And on Spotify, it's VK.
Awesome. I'll be sure to leave links to all of that down below. So, fam, be sure to check out What Up, the single by these two awesome, awesome musicians over here. And with that being said, thank you for pulling up to the site where we keep it light. You dig what I did? Light Body signing out. Peace.
Might try to take me down, but I can't lose. So I won, they can't tame you. Light shining in the air, might change you. Stay strong on God, they can't break you. Don't let them break